Well, you know, Jim, we are right on the edge of the southern suburbs of Beirut that has been the focus of these intense Israeli airstrikes, especially in the past 48 hours almost. These airstrikes continuing, and as a result of that, we have seen this mass exodus of civilians, of the people of the area known as Dahye of Beirut. And I think you can see behind me right now, we're still seeing people who are either now getting the chance to leave with the little they can carry, or who have tried to go back and pick up some belongings and get out of there. We're right outside a school that has been turned into a shelter. This is one of several of those shelters around Beirut. But the authorities are struggling to keep up with the number of people who have been displaced. In a matter of days, Jim, according to authorities, about 1 million people have been displaced across Lebanon, mostly in the southern part of the country, the southern suburbs of Beirut, as well as the eastern part of the country. And if you look at Beirut's southern suburbs, this is one of the most densely populated areas, or was, of Beirut. It had a Hezbollah presence, as we saw. This is where the Israelis killed the leader of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, and other top commanders of the group. But it is also home to hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people who have now been forced out of their homes. As I mentioned, some are in these schools, but then you also have so many others who don't know where they are going to go. For days now, they have been on the street. I mean, just a short time ago, we were in central Beirut, in the heart of the capital, and we found people still camped outside on pavements, in parks, families with little children. We spoke to Lebanese families, Syrian refugees who have been in this country for 10 years, who fled the civil war in their country, and now they're here displaced again with nowhere to go. We met migrant workers from Bangladesh, from Ethiopia. An absolutely desperate situation, and we're talking about people on the streets with no toilets, no facilities. I mean, we heard from some people saying they've had to go down to the sea to wash because they have nowhere else to go. And I met an elderly woman from Syria, and she said that she fled the airstrikes. She didn't even have shoes on. All she grabbed was a little plastic bag with her medications and a little pack of tissues, because that's what she does to survive. She sells those tissues, Jim, and she lives off of that. And now she broke down crying, saying she just doesn't know what is going to happen to them now. She doesn't have a home in Syria. It was destroyed in the civil war, and she has no money, no place to go to here. And it's story after story like this, an absolutely desperate situation.
About the vacuum left by Hassan Nasrallah, two principal candidates. His former number two seems to be taking over as a caretaker. He is perhaps more hot-blooded than Nasrallah in terms of Nasrallah careful, calculating. Just last weekend at a funeral, this number two was saying that this is a new chapter and essentially in an open war. And the other person who's in the running to be the leadership is a cousin of Nasrallah, also married into a very powerful and important Iranian family. He is the son-in-law of Qasem Soleimani, whom the United States killed in a drone strike early in 2020. He was the Quds Force, the overseas military commander for Iran's elite Iranian Revolutionary Guard Council. So both of these figures would carry weight within Hezbollah, one known to be sort of more hot-headed, if you will, than Hassan Nasrallah.
El primer ministro israelí Benjamin Netanyahu asegura que se trata de algo histórico donde Israel responde así a aquellos que quieren erradicarla. Dice que esto es algo que manda un mensaje a todo el Medio Oriente, muy especialmente a Irán. Y esto cuando es de señalar que él habla de un punto de inflexión en esta zona. Todo esto cuando se refiere a Hassan Nasrallah no como un terrorista más, sino como el terrorista. es de señalar que en el mundo muchos señalan a Nasrallah como un megaterrorista global, pero junto a esto, para sus seguidores, para lo que es el eje de resistencia pro-iraní, se trata ahora ya de un mártir sagrado. Todo esto después de una operación militar israelí realizada el viernes, en la cual fueron lanzadas decenas de bombas, cada una de ellas de 1 tonelada, contra el cuartel general fundamental, central de Hezbollah, donde se encontraban en ese momento Hassan Nasrallah y otros líderes centrales de su organización. Todo esto culminando lo que han sido 12 días realmente devastadores para este grupo pro-iraní, algo que comenzó con las explosiones de lo que son dispositivos de comunicación, víperes, walkie-talkies, y posteriormente llevó a ataques contra los depósitos de armas, muchos de ellos de esta organización, y ahora también a lo que es la muerte del liderazgo central de Hezbollah. Se trata de una organización que se siente humillada, que se siente de alguna manera transparente. También vemos que hay ahora quienes afirman en el Líbano que quizás se trata de una oportunidad para llevar a un nuevo orden dentro del Líbano, donde hasta ahora Hezbollah gozaba de plena independencia para llevar a cabo sus acciones contra los israelíes. Esto podría cambiar. También hay quienes dicen que podría cambiar ese eje de resistencia que fue fomentado hasta ahora por Irán, de distintos grupos en distintos países del Medio Oriente para enfrentarse a Israel. Ahora existen dudas cuando quizás el principal grupo paramilitar del Medio Oriente, sino del mundo, Hezbollah, está recibiendo estos golpes tan importantes, devastadores. Y todo esto cuando, eso sí, en Irán aseguran que este eje de resistencia va a apoyar a la lucha de Hezbollah también a partir de ahora. Junto a esto vemos en Estados Unidos a Joe Biden, quien él afirma que Israel tiene el derecho a defenderse, y también celebra la muerte de Hassan Nasrallah, quien, según él, tiene mucha sangre americana en sus manos.
Hola, Rey. Pues el ataque letal israelí contra el líder de Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, no ha reducido la intensidad y frecuencia de los ataques aéreos bombardeos en el Líbano contra Hezbollah. Al contrario, Israel sigue atacando numerosos objetivos, ya sean milicianos, cabecillas, como también infraestructuras. Uno de los últimos, según el ejército israelí, es Khalil Yassin, un dirigente de la inteligencia de Hezbollah, una milicia aún conmocionada, como tú decías, tras confirmarse la muerte de su líder en los últimos 32 años, Hassan Nasrallah. El primer ministro israelí, Benjamin Netanyahu, afirma que Nasrallah, y digo textualmente, era un asesino de muchos israelíes y también de ciudadanos de otros países, incluyendo franceses y estadounidenses, y que matando a Nasrallah se podría conseguir de forma más rápida y fácil la vuelta de los habitantes del norte de Israel evacuados desde hace un año por los ataques de Hezbollah, cuando inició la escalada en apoyo de Hamas a la Franja de Gaza. Al mismo tiempo, como tú decías, Hezbollah ha reivindicado el ataque contra la zona de Jerusalén, disparando varios misiles, según este grupo. Según el ejército, efectivamente se activó las sirenas en las zonas cercanas a Jerusalén y habría habido un impacto en una zona abierta en la zona ribera occidental. Y a todo ello en el Líbano, desde los inicios de los bombardeos masivos israelíes contra milicianos, contra infraestructuras de Hezbollah, que tuvo como punto culminante este viernes con el ataque en el feudo de Dahia contra Nasrallah. Alrededor de 1 millón de personas han sido desplazadas, y a todo esto, por supuesto, por un lado, satisfacción en Israel, pero también miedo a la represalia, y por otro, enfado, ira y muchas proclamas de venganza por parte de Hamas, de los hutíes del Yemen, que por cierto, Rey, han disparado hoy un misil balístico contra la zona de Tel Aviv, siendo interceptado, y por supuesto de Irán, el país que patrocina, ayuda económicamente y militarmente a Hezbollah. Para ellos, Nasrallah era algo más que un aliado, y por eso el líder supremo de Irán, Ali Khamenei, ha decretado 5 días de duelo.
Israel says it has struck Hezbollah's central headquarters in the Lebanese capital of Beirut. CNN's Jomana Karaji is now here with us from Beirut. Jomana, what are you seeing and hearing?
Well, Donna, a short while ago, we were here on the roof and we heard massive blasts that shook our hotel as well as the rest of Beirut. And then we could see the thick plume of smoke rising from the direction of Beirut's southern suburbs. That is an area, one of the most densely populated areas of the country, where you have a Hezbollah presence, where their leadership has been known to have been based in the past, where we have seen multiple Israeli strikes in recent days. But this certainly was the largest blast that anyone here has witnessed since the start of this escalation. According to Lebanese colleagues, they say that this is the biggest Israeli strike that has taken place since the 2006 Israel-Hezbollah war. We have heard from the Israeli military saying that they struck Hezbollah's central headquarters in Beirut with a precise strike, they say, and that this headquarters served as the epicenter, they say, of Hezbollah's terror. And they say that it was underneath a residential building, again accusing Hezbollah of using civilians as human shields, something that the Lebanese government, we have heard, say is baseless. They say that these are excuses. This is something we've heard in recent days from the Lebanese government. A minister we spoke to yesterday saying it is the same excuses that we have heard in Gaza for nearly a year, accusing Israeli military of indiscriminate attacks here. They say not only going after Hezbollah, but saying that it is women and children and civilians in this country who are bearing the brunt of this. Now, Dana, we still don't have information from Lebanese authorities on casualty figures, but that was huge explosions. And when you hear the Israeli military laying really the groundwork for what seems to have been a huge strike that they carried out, saying that it was under residential buildings, saying that it was a headquarters, and based on what we heard, you would expect that large munitions were used in this strike. And almost certainly, when you consider how densely populated that area is, it is likely going to have a high casualty toll, and we will bring you that as we get that information from the